Okay, so if you know by now, you know that I am quite the movie buff. We talk about it all the time between Thick and myself, and it's always cool when you see someone who is another Ohio kid, a local, that is doing pretty well. About to have your first major release nationwide, which is exciting. Jack, I'll let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Hey, thank you, Lewis. First of all, thank you for having me on the air. And I'm actually from Cincinnati, Ohio, originally, and I moved to New York City at 18 with the dream to make movies. And by 21, I found myself in Los Angeles, and that's where I've been spending a lot of my time. And I, created a team to make movies.
Now, how do you figure out you want to make movies? Because I love watching movies, but I'm amazed by the director side of it because I think you have to have the eye for like how to place things and how to do shots. I have friends of mine that are so into photography and they'll figure that out. And I would never take a picture like that. But when somebody does a movie and how you cut in between shot to get that right shot, like it's got to be something that your brain works differently than everybody else's.
And it starts exactly the way you said it. I love watching movies. I love movies. They teach you something. So I just really was a big fan of movies, and that's what got me into it. And then eventually you learn how they do it. The first time is always a rodeo. But then once you learn how to edit, and then you become a dangerous filmmaker.
Now, who were your? I mean, I'm sure we're going to get some names that everybody recognizes. Who were your influence? Who did you watch a movie and go, okay, I want to make something like that?
When I was younger, it was very action flicks. Like when I was younger, my first favorite movie was Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
My second favorite movie
Rest
when
in
I was
peace,
a kid.
Carl Weathers.
Yeah, exactly. Just recently, and also one of the actors, I forget his name off the top of my head. He's actually from Cincinnati. The guy with the razor,
Bill Duke.
Yeah, Bill Duke is from Cincinnati, so I got a lot of respect for him. My second favorite movie is Die Hard, but then what happened is once I grew up, I got into more cinematic pieces. So I actually, when I was 18 in New York, I studied with a director by Mike Nichols, his name. He did The Graduate, Birdcage, Closer. So I really got into that style, and I think The Private Eye has a very, because I was going for the noir look, there's a lot of longer shots, and it's a very dialogue piece because of, I had restricted budget. So what I did is I made it more dialogue heavy, and the acting is phenomenal. There's actually, the lead actor is an Ohio cat.
I was getting there.
Yes.
Jack's movie's called Private Eye, and it drops today.
Yep.
So the cool thing about this is Matt Rife, as far as comedians go, has been on the hot streak for a while. And I watched the trailer for this the other day when we found out we were going to talk to you, and it's not what you would expect from Matt Rife. It seems like this guy kind of lives in two worlds. There's the reality, and then there's what he sees kind of in his head going on.
Well, you're catching the mystery of it. I like that. But for Matt particularly, this is we just had a review come out about how this is just the beginning. Like now Matt can be seen as a dramatic actor. I mean, he is phenomenal. And I studied with Mike Nichols, and one of his big things is rehearsal, rehearsal, rehearsal. Most films do not rehearse with the actors. I mean, we rehearsed for a month, to prepare for his role and everything. So by the time he was on set, he was ready to go. There's also there's two other Ohio people in this movie. One is Elliot. He's the lead supporting actor, and he's from Cincinnati. And then we've got, if you know him, Chip the Ripper, King Chip, and he's the main antagonist in the movie.
I saw, it's one of those movies where you see, I had to IMDb.
Yep.
Because I saw faces, and I'm like, okay, I've seen you in places before. Where do I know you from? And then you look it up, and you kind of figure it out.
Yes.
But my question is, a lot of times you don't necessarily have to make a movie. You can't just spend money. Like if you're on a big like if Marvel comes to you and goes, hey, all right, cool, I know I got $250 million to play with and nobody's going to bat an eyelash. Yeah. When you don't have that, how challenging is that where budget constraints are concerned?
That's the biggest challenge, but what it does is that's where the art comes from, because you got to be creative, right? Like if you have the most budget in the world, you can move that wall because we're in a soundstage. But now we're in this room and we can't move the wall, so now we're going to do a creative long shot, or like how are we going to get the lighting perfect? So there's a lot of challenges, but that's where the art comes from. So that's where you see how good you really are. If you give a director $200 million, it's a lot easier to direct a movie, okay? But if you give them a different type of budget, it shows what they can do for real.
How do you get actors to jump on board a project in the case of like a Matt Rife, who
Oh.
is more known for the comic side of things than doing something like this. I mean, if you haven't seen it yet, check out the trailer. It's
Yes.
it's a different side of Matt Rife.
Yes.
But how do you get someone to kind of step out of what their comfort zone is and convince them that it's a good idea?
Well, a lot of comedians are some of the greatest actors, okay? Like, look at Adam Sandler's, what was that, Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems.
You know what
He
I mean?
does not
So,
get
like,
enough credit for
so,
stuff like that.
and that's the same thing with Matt. Like, this is just the beginning for Matt. Matt's only really blew up this past year, and, there's going to be studios. They're going to watch this movie, and they'll be like, dang, let's give that guy a chance, because he has a serious side. It's not just all funny and jokes. I think I compared him on this podcast one time, and it went viral. I compared him as a mix between Adam Sandler and Brad Pitt, because, he's got the looks, he's got the attitude, he's got the swag, but he's so sweet and he's so funny.
Very cool. The movie is called The Private Eye. You can catch it in theaters, and it's actually going to be here in Columbus.
Yes, we've got 2 theaters in Columbus. We got the AMC East End, and we've got the Marcus Crosswoods.
Awesome. Check it out. The trailer is online now. You can catch it. It's good to see the local get to a national level, which is always a fun thing to do.
Hey, that means so much. Thank you. And if you are on High Street on Ohio State University, right across the street, check out the billboard.
There you go. You'll see Matt Rife all over it. And,
Yes.
Ladies, I know you like to look at Matt Rife.
That's
Jack,
right.
thank you for coming in, man. Great to
Hey,
talk
thank
to
you, Lewis. Hey, have a good one. Cool. Boom.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.